I had the most fun I had playing a video game in a decade.
NHL 25, 3 updates. One of them is coming in December in the form of PWHL teams being added. That rocks. We're also going to get the 4 nation teams. That's going to be amazing. That doesn't exist yet because famously the rosters don't exist yet. What does right now is NHL Arcade, which is a more casual style, big heads. Is it 3-on-3?
It's the old 3-on-3 that was like from the NHL 360 like version. That famously is like probably the younger generation's NHL 94. Like I think that like on the same like level to an extent. Like if you were a kid, like I remember being like in college and this is how you like settled debates. You know, would just be the 3-on-3 arcade. So I got to play this early when I was out in Seattle for the EA community event, and they basically pulled us into a room, very hush hush, and there was 8 of us, and they had a station for all 8 of us. It was like 4-on-4, head to head, like LAN, and they were like, "This is what we got," and we had no expectations or knowledge that this was going to happen. I tell you, I left there with no voice. I had the most fun I had playing a video game in a decade, and it was so relieving to play a game, especially a hockey game, where you just winning didn't matter because you were having fun doing it. And I think that's just an issue with video games in general, is that we make them like jobs or make them, you have to win at all costs, no matter what. It was just an absolute blast. And, you know, this kind of stuff where it's so out there won't last forever. You know, it's just, you know, the nostalgia carries a lot of it. But man, if you're looking to just have some fun with a couple of buddies, the 3-on-3 arcade thing, there's no way you could play that for a couple hours and not be just like laugh. You know, it's so obnoxious, and as it should be. So I thought they did a really good job of it. And it was, you know, you always get the LOL fix other things, right? We don't ask for big heads, but it's tough to like when you play it again with a couple friends. Man, is it fun?
Yeah, and I feel like with this year's game, there's a little bit more to explore. And like these kind of updates that they're throwing in makes the game fresh at different stages of its life cycle. And so like I agree with you that like there are complaints to be had with franchise mode, with other things.
Many,
like,
yeah,
things
absolutely.
that they can fix, but at least they're doing something and at least rolling out things to keep the game fresh, because arcade has been a blast.
Okay, so
yeah,
go ahead, Sleeves.
Oh, no, I will say that, yeah, this is the first time I can remember being a creator where they have like a roadmap of content release. And I think maybe it's a different marketing tactic that EA is doing. But yeah, I think it like freshens things up as opposed to just waiting for random patches or things to drop that we have no idea. They've been a little bit better at that, not from like a gameplay perspective or things that we really want fixed from a technical standpoint, but the PWHL update and the holiday update that they came out with, they hadn't done that in I don't know when, and maybe it's because they haven't really brought anything in to the game in quite some time. But no, like I said, I think that this was nice. It doesn't fix all of the issues or anywhere close, but it was definitely a W from player base standpoint, I think.
Can I ask you at this point in release cycle, like what are your biggest problems with the game?
This year, I mean, again, guys, I play Hockey Ultimate Team, and like that's not going to be the most popular mode for people, right? So there's a lot of issues with Hockey Ultimate Team. But from a gameplay standpoint, this year they introduced the skill-based one-timer, and they finally made the one-timers good again, or at least have the ability to score, and scoring like the Ovechkin goal, for example. You couldn't really do that in the last 3 NHL games, which is kind of obnoxious when you think about it. So that's good, but you can also just basically flick up from the point, and every DDD one-timer goes in, and they've really got to address that and bring it back from a 1v1 gameplay standpoint. And you know, it was met with it's the same issue that a lot of games go through that are yearly releases. I think that when you release a game and you only have a year dev time, there's so much relying on the day 0 patch or the things that will be fixed, you know, in the first couple weeks of the game that should be at launch. And World of Chell, for example, experienced just tons of matchmaking issues and things like that. And they're slowly trying to fix those to get it to where it's stable and everything like that. But, you know, it's tough in the single game cycle. But in terms of gameplay, yeah, the D2D one-timer thing is a little rough. The coach is being added to franchise mode. Again, a lot of players won't care about that. Really cool for immersion, I got to say. say. I think that was one of the cooler ones. I think they got the mobile face scan version on some of them, though, not the full crazy one that they've got in EA Studio. But I don't know if you saw some of those, but that might be a great segment to go through and look at the actual coaches compared to their likeness, because I thought it was pretty funny on some of them.
We got the scoop that Rick Tocchet not happy about his face.
No, he was not. Dude, Lindy Ruff is my favorite. You got to take a look at Lindy Ruff.
How do you feel the PWHL and Four Nations implementation will go? I mean, I think that obviously in the case of the latter, pretty easy. All those guys already exist. But I mean, what kind of world does this open up for the game to be able to add another league in the PWHL?
Well, I think it was big, and I think this was the first time that we've ever seen where, because the women were introduced to NHL 23. Yeah, Sarah Nurse was the 23 version, right? So, and then this year they were released, especially in HUT. Again, that's the mode I focus on the most. But the North American women weren't really in the game, and there was like a why, like what's going on here. And it was easy to kind of figure out that there's a new league. Obviously there's a legality to it, so there was obviously some sort of like contract or negotiations that had to have been done, I'm sure, to see them in the game. That's good, and I think it's good for the PWHL. Like maybe for some people, maybe they they're not super interested in whatnot, but that is what it is. But I think that for the PWHL to give them a higher recognition and platform as well in the game, and now they're going to get highlighted in the game and get the jerseys and everything like that. I think that that's going to be a big win for them. And I think again, highlighting the best women on the planet is awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. And go ahead.
I think it'll be good for young people playing, because it's new jerseys they haven't seen before. And I'm thinking about like when I played video games, when we weren't playing Parappa the Rapper, you would pick teams that had cool jerseys or a player that excited you. You would, because you played with them so often, you'd learn every player on the roster. So if you were playing Madden, you knew who the guard for the Miami Dolphins was because you liked the color of their jerseys or whatever. I'm imagining, I think that like big hockey fans like me, Pete, Sean, whatever, like if we're playing, we're going to be, oh yeah, let's play PWHL. I think that kids are going to see the Minnesota jersey or the Fleet jersey or whatever and be like, I'm playing with that. And they're going to learn who the players are. And that's going to be, I think, huge for growth. Such a no-brainer if you're the PWHL to get in there.
For sure.
Yeah, and I mean, like, even for the awareness of these teams' existence for people who may not know, because I remember as a kid, like, I played Madden and I found out about NFL Europe through playing Madden. And in my early NHL days, when they started introducing AHL teams, like, this is how I found out about a lot of teams. So don't overlook that for sure.
I am a Patriots and Red Sox fan, famously from Southern Ontario, where I was force-fed every Toronto team, and it is simply because I thought the Patriots logo looked awesome, and this was when Bledsoe was on the team, and the Red Sox, I loved playing with Nomar Garciaparra, and I just luckily fell into that over the last 2 decades. But no, I think that you're bang on, and I think that, for example, when they have cards that mimic their performance on ice, you see on social media and stuff. Jenna Hirikoski scores a big goal. You might have her card in Hockey Ultimate Team or whatever. Like you are more aware, whether that people want to admit it or not. They're paying attention. There is no way that when you watch the Olympics, for example, you're going to actually know some of the women athletes a lot more, just even if you weren't paying attention, just because you've seen their name and again the jerseys. I thought outside of the Scepters, I think that they all the other jerseys I think were fantastic.
We all silly like the mayor.